Thanks for joining the show today. I will be on the Don't Wait Project tour from March 13th to April 3rd, traveling from DC to Connecticut. So I thought rather than showing reruns of previous tours, I will show you updates and interview people who I've met along the way. I'll start with Jen and Roman McConn. They are the founders of Project Freedom Ride. Throughout our conversation that was previously taped, I kept referring to 2019 tour, but we actually met in 2018. Just a little housekeeping there. Enjoy. Good to see you, Jen. Thanks for coming back on the show. It's been 3 whole years.
It feels like time has flown. A lot has happened in 3 years.
Yes, that's
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. So you and I met when I was on the first tour, as I said, and we met at the NOAA Center, got to know all the people there who know you all so well. So just as a refresher, let's talk about Project Freedom Ride, how you started it, and where you are now.
We started in 2016, was kind of like the official birth. We had our first transport of 31 dogs outside. We brought them from Texas to Washington State. My son was—
You're rescuing them from kill shelters, right?
Yeah, we actually work with rescues. The rescues pull them from kill shelters, so they're quarantined properly before they go on transport. Texas has a lot of disease in the shelters, so we want to make sure we're not spreading that disease somewhere else. So we work with a handful of rescues that helped, do all the pre-transport vetting, and then we funded all the transport to get dogs out. When we started, we just sent dogs to rescues like NOAA. They would receive the dogs, adopt them out. Since then, now we've helped over 4,100 dogs, and we actually don't just send just to other rescues. We actually now will send dogs straight to families as well. So that's called our direct adoption process. So those families are screened by the Texas Rescues or by us, depending on who kind of has ownership of that dog at the time. And then they're approved, they go through the vetting process, they're approved, and then they wait for their dog to offload from transport.
I was watching our previous episode, and I think at that point there were about 900 dogs. So that's a lot of dogs saved. Yeah. Did you notice a difference in terms of the amount of dogs needing to be saved during COVID? Did it change? Did COVID have an effect on it directly or indirectly?
COVID had a great effect in the rescue world initially, because it was all these people were home, right? They had a lot of free time. Everybody wanted a companion. People that were normally stuck inside were getting time to be outside. It was great. Like we didn't have enough dogs. We were moving dogs very quickly. Unfortunately, now we're on the downside of that. Adoptions are incredibly slow. People who adopted during COVID no longer are interested in the dogs. And no matter how much—
in the dog that they adopted.
Yeah. So we have, we're lucky. We don't, because our process is a little more complicated. We don't have the same spike in returns that other groups may have, but like our receiving partners, the rescues that help us take dogs that we didn't already adopt out, they're having a hard time taking in dogs because their returns are high. Shelters in areas that normally have lower numbers are high because people are surrendering them. So we knew this would come. I mean, I don't think anybody was naive enough to think it wouldn't come, but now it's here and it's definitely no fun to navigate.
When you started out with Project Freedom Ride, and we're gonna show the previous clip of Roman. It's about 6 minutes of the time that I spent with him previously during the tour in 2019, and then we'll have Roman on in the last segment. Could you have imagined how much of an impact Roman would have on everything that you do? I mean, know he's adorable. You live with him.
But that's what he tells people now, even in his interviews. We thought we'd do this for a little while and be done, maybe even 1 or 2 transports and be done. It's very costly. Like even financially, we thought there's just no way this can sustain itself. Our expenses are around $18,000 a month. Like that's a lot of money. But here we are, 5 years later, 5 and a little bit, and it hasn't stopped yet. I mean, Roman's had huge platforms to help promote rescue, help promote Project Freedom Ride, just encourage people to adopt and spay and neuter and all those great rescue terms. So no, I didn't anticipate like any of this because we're still just very normal people, just normal people.
And when Roman started doing it, he was just doing it because he loved dogs. He
Yeah.
definitely had no agenda.
No, and even now he doesn't have he's got this big idea that we can save all the dogs in the US and then go global and stuff. And he laughs that it's just that much work for me. But he definitely, he just wants to help. Like, he doesn't have any angle. Like, all the publicity and things that have come have been like very genuine, which has been great. It isn't because that's what we wanted or what we saw or what he saw. He just liked visiting with them.
Well, and that's how these great things work out, right? If you try to plan it this way.
No, I never could. No.
And you mentioned a bigger job for you. What is your job? What is your role in it? What's a typical day like for you?
So I am kind of like I'm the coordinator. In my real life, I'm also a coordinator for scheduling. And so I coordinate everything for Project Freedom Ride. So I will receive all the information from the Texas Rescue about a dog. If it's a dog that they need transferred to another rescue, I'm submitting that dog to rescues to see who can take it. I also am receiving the adopter's information to make sure that dog is on the transport, all the information about the dog, the photos to promote the dogs. We now have our own van, which is different from 3 years ago. We purchased our own van about a year and a half ago. So I now have all that is associated with like a nonprofit. We have 2 employees, there are drivers. So we've got to make sure all of that happens. We've had to bring in more entities to help me because I didn't ever plan for it to be this big. But most of what I am doing is taking information from all these angles and putting it in one. And then when that transport loads, that's when they go.
You're wanting to fill it up with, you want to find the right people. You don't want to just give these dogs away, right? You don't want to run into that. So you're very careful in the process.
Yep. The Texas groups receive all the applications for their dogs. Each group receives applications for their dogs. They're approving these families. We hold all of the groups that we work with out of Texas to the same standard as far as like vetting and screening of the family. So there's a very similar process across the board when people work with us. I've also taken on like this kind of personal responsibility that I have to help these Texas rescues, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we now have this bigger platform to collect money. So we help them with large medical bills. A dog recently that comes to mind has to have an artificial hip put in one leg and his back leg, and the other back leg has to be amputated. His vet bill is going to be like, $8,000-9,000. Well, I can't expect people to take that on by themselves. So we then help raise all of that money and things like that. So these dogs actually have a chance. So there's a lot of moving parts that we play kind of a vital role in, but it's definitely a part of something. I don't feel like Project Freedom Ride is all of anything. We just help make these things possible.
Well, and what you're describing to me sounds complicated, somewhat complicated, but it is a simple idea. It's just that you save these dogs and you find them homes. Mm-hmm. And if we're thinking about, how this all happened and you couldn't have expected it to go the way that it has, what's the one thing that surprised you the most? Whether it's about the people who receive the dogs, the placements you've made, what is the thing that you just are pleasantly surprised by? Pleasantly, not the hard stuff, the good stuff.
I think the pleasant surprise is when we have people who adopt more than once, or when we have people come to us to adopt because they know somebody that has adopted through us, and people can genuinely speak about our program, like about how us or the Texas Rescues care about the dogs. When people see that it is genuine, because rescue can get very muddied very quickly. And so when people can actually, it's funny, I feel like Roman has like 50,000 mothers, right? Like, they're all very protective of him. And that is like such a comforting feeling. Like, people know that our mission and our project is genuine. And I think that's been the best part.
That was the sense that I got when I visited the NOAA Center, and just how people received Roman there. And
Right.
it felt like a second home to him. And I'm sure he feels that way wherever he goes, as
Yep.
long as he has a dog with him, right?
Yep.
He's
Yep.
very comfortable in that element, which I thought
Yep.
was a beautiful thing. Yeah.
People are very trusting of him too. Like a lot of times we have to explain to people, like he's still 10, but
Yeah.
he's very comfortable around dogs. And so we've been very lucky. Currently, we're helping a shelter that's about 45 minutes from us here in Georgia. And I mean, he's allowed to just go in and do, like, I mean, I have to be there with him, of course, but it's nice when people respect him and understand, like, he always has good intentions.
Yeah. Well, and he has it isn't just his big heart. We're talking about him like he's not there, but he's sitting right across from you. It isn't just his big heart. He has a skill set, and he's a strong communicator. I met him when he was 7 years old, and I'm so excited to talk with him again because now he's 10 and he knows everything. Right now he's starting to get the age where he knows everything.
Yeah, I don't know if that's always good. I don't know if that's always good.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming back here and updating us and sharing the rest of your story. We're going to take a break. And then when we come back, we'll be showing the previous interview that I did with Roman 3 years ago. And then when we come back from that, we will meet up with Roman again today, the 10-year-old.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that we're still in touch.
Yes, yes. I love when we can do updates and share what has changed.
Yeah, always let us know. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Hi, Roman. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome back to the show. It's been a little while since I last saw you.
It has.
You're growing up before my eyes.
Thank you.
So
My parents say they wish I'd stay younger for a little while.
Well, that is what most parents feel about their kids. I tell my son that when he turned 18, I was 45 and I would do it all over again until I was 63. And then I'd do it all over again until I was 81. I just keep raising him all over again if I could. That's how we feel about our kids. Okay, so let's catch up. You have been up to a lot of interesting, wonderful things since I last talked to you. And I have to tell you, you are seriously I was going to say one of my favorite kids I've ever met, but you're actually one of my favorite people I've ever met. And I've met a lot of people and I've helped tell a lot of stories. And I just think the world of you. I think you have the biggest heart around. You probably hear that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Okay, so let's get to it. So we haven't seen each other in 3 years, a little over 3 years. And since then, I was talking with your mom earlier and Project Freedom Ride has grown.
It has quite a bit.
You may not remember this, but I was rewatching our time together and I'd asked you how many dogs and you guessed about 900. And then later in the conversation, your mom confirmed it was a little over 900. And then your mom just gave a number in the thousands.
Yeah, we've helped like over 4,100 dogs now.
It's amazing. And do you have a favorite type of dog or you just love all dogs?
I love all dogs, but mainly I love big dogs more than anything.
Big dogs. And
like our smallest dog weighs about 45 pounds.
So I found you when because you were and still are a YouTube sensation, right? That's how a lot of people came to find you. You've been on the Ellen Show. You've done all kinds of fun things. You have a wonderful audience that cares a lot about you and the animals that you save. Do you have a memory? Do you remember, because you were quite a bit younger when this started, do you remember how all of this started? Or is it kind of foggy?
I remember it was like, so me and my parents, we were going into our local PetSmart to get something for our pets. And I saw a bunch of crates at the front of it. And I asked my parents why they were there. And my mom said that because the shelter is full and they want to try and get some dogs adopted. So they take them to a place where where people go often so they can try and get the dogs adopted. And I asked how come they're not adopted. And she said that people don't really want them. And I said, okay, so let's change that. And then since then we kind of dove in head first, and I've helped quite a lot of dogs.
Well, one of the things that I was talking about with your mom is that you just did this because you love dogs, and you just started hugging on them and getting to know their personalities, and then sharing that with the people who were watching you on YouTube and other platforms. And so do you have an understanding of how much you've accomplished in a short period of time, or is it still kind of hard to wrap your head around the whole thing?
It's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around it because I just know it's like a lot in like just a couple of years, well, not really a couple, like 4 or 5, but it's pretty uncomprehendable about how many we've helped.
Now, what's your favorite thing? Back then you said one of your favorite things was calling out the names to the people who were adopting their dogs. What is your favorite thing? Is that still your favorite thing? Have you?
I still really love doing that, but now since we live in Georgia, not Washington anymore, I appreciate it even just getting to help like unload the dogs and getting to be at the offloads, because that's really awesome, and that doesn't happen very much anymore.
So you get to be there when the dogs are brought to wherever they're going to be adopted.
Yeah, I don't get to do that as much anymore, so it's really awesome when I get to.
How many dogs do you have yourself?
Right now we have 5 dogs. One of them is a foster, and we have 4 of our own.
Gotcha. And how long will you keep the foster? Do you foster? Have you fostered before?
We fostered many times before, but we already have a home lined up for her, but we just need to kind of like pick a time when.
Gotcha. Okay, let's talk about some of this other big news that I discovered when reaching back out and actually just Googling your name. You now have a television show. You're part of a television show. Tell us about that.
So I have my own TV show now, and it's with Disney. So that's yet another big platform we can kind of share Project Freedom Ride on. And it's really awesome because I get to work with amazing people and find them real homes. So that's like 17 more amazing dogs that actually get homes. It's just lots of fun, and you can definitely tell it's a kid show because there's just like colors everywhere, and just it's like a dog's paradise.
It looks like a lot of fun.
A literal treat buffet.
It looks like a lot of fun. So it's your job now. You've got a job beyond the job you have helping place the dogs and helping your mom. And do you feel like it's something you want to keep doing, and it's something you love doing? It hasn't taken the love out of what you're doing for you, right? Sometimes you get a job and then it seems like work, but this is still your passion.
Yeah, this job is like my dream job. I get to hang out with dogs. I get to cuddle with dogs. I get to love on dogs. This is like awesome. I love doing it, and I don't think I will ever stop doing it.
Well, I don't think you'll ever have to stop doing it. And the fact that you are 10 years old and you have already found your dream job, that's pretty amazing. So whatever you're doing, keep up the good work, and always appreciate your mom, because she's working hard for you too. A lot of kids would have had some passion or love for this, and maybe their parents wouldn't have been able to see that through like yours have. So I'm just proud of all of you, and I look forward to keeping up with all the great things you're doing.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, you too.
So I'm here with my friend Roman, my new friend, at the Noah Center, and he is going to show us around. He is the YouTube sensation who helps friendly dogs find friendly homes. Right?
Right. So I'm here to get dogs adopted. Isn't that right, Max?
My name is Lady Kurtz. I'm the operations director at the Noah Center in Stanwood, Washington. Roman is the biggest hearted little boy that we have had the privilege to get to know. It is pretty obvious that he is all about the dogs, and really at his age truly interested in helping them find that perfect placement.
So what would you say to someone who was interested in adopting this dog.
I think she's pretty sweet, all right. She needs a good home with people that could give her lots of lovings, because she's sweet and needs lots of lovings.
My interaction with Roman is that he has been part of Project Freedom Ride, which is one of our partner shelters. So they come and visit after they've brought us animals from Texas, and they like to do feature stories on some of the animals we've received. So he'll go into the rooms and interact with them, and if we haven't gotten any of their animals in that week, he will ask who is here that could use that extra special attention, and then he does the same thing for those.
Do you know how I found you, Roman? I saw your YouTube videos where you go into the shelters like you're doing now, and I bet you help a lot of dogs get adopted that way.
I help a ton.
Do you have any idea how many?
I have no idea.
I bet you lost count, huh?
I lost count from the first one.
From the first one.
Ever since the 10th dog I did, I lost count.
Wow.
They never know how to count higher than 10.
How high can you count now?
995 is once how high I counted up.
Wow, that's really high. Could you imagine if you saved 995 dogs?
I think I have already.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
I have no idea how many.
She's like, hey kid, give me some treats.
And
She seems to be doing really well.
She's very affectionate.
And she's so small, I just want to put her in my pocket.
She's too little, huh? I'm Jen. I'm the founder of Project Freedom Ride and Roman's mom. We are becoming a nonprofit. We bring dogs up from high kill areas in Texas and transfer them to facilities like NOAA, as well as into direct homes. We started in December 2016, and we've moved about 900 dogs since then. So, yeah, pretty crazy.
so what do you like about doing this project?
I like to call out the dog names to get the direct adopt dogs, which are the dogs that go straight to their homes, and the people don't even meet their dogs, they just do FaceTimes and other cool stuff.
They don't get to meet them till they're off the truck,
I
huh?
don't get to meet them till they're off the truck.
What's it like when they meet them?
They're like so happy, and some people adopt one Project Freedom Ride dog from like transports like a long time ago, and they get another dog from a Project Freedom Ride. So it's crazy. And I like to call out the dog names to the adopters. It's my favorite part to be in Project Freedom Ride.
It's very good. You're very good at
Everybody
this.
has their role.
You're very good at this.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.